Hello and welcome to today's training, all about what to do when you can't afford to invest. The reason I want to bring this up is because some of the discussions I've been having in the DMs with some of my audience has been around their ability to invest. And what's fascinating about this is that as life coaches, this is 100% something that your clients are going to be experiencing, or your audience are going to be experiencing. And whether it's them reaching out to you in the DMs, having conversations in real life, or giving you feedback off the back of consults that they don't have the ability to invest, this is all stuff that you need to navigate. So today's training isn't going to be about how to handle that in a consult. This is about you investing in yourself and your business. The training about how to handle objections in a consult, how to handle and navigate when a client says to you that they can't afford to invest, that's all inside my Thrive One-to-One program. If this is something that's coming up for you regularly in your consults, then by all means, come join me. That's exactly what I do with my one-to-one clients. And their conversion rates tend to be extremely high as they build their confidence and process around consults and have a very clean way of approaching those discussions. But even as business owners who we've invested a lot in the certification. We have maybe started dabbling in some investments to upskill ourselves in certain areas of our business. There is going to be a time where, for whatever reason, you cannot invest. And I want to talk about that today and the way that I navigate that when it comes up for myself, because it does. And I think it's really handy to talk about. Like, I've never ever seen a training on this topic, to be honest with you. And I want you to succeed. I want you to win. I want you to make money as a life coach. So I think if we can start to think about this in a really empowered way for ourselves, for our own investments, and for our own business, then that's naturally going to elevate the way that we can hold our clients when they're going through the same thing, when they're making the same decision to invest in you. So as you listen to this, naturally, because I really shit at holding back, you're going to get some really valuable insights about how to navigate those kind of discussions with your clients. But really, this is a training for you about you investing in yourself and your business as you want to upskill and as you make this commitment to grow a coaching business when you've never built a business before. Because if you're anything like me, you come from a corporate background and you've never had to build a business from scratch, even if you've been in revenue generating roles or you've made a lot of money for the companies that you work for. So let us dive in. First of all, let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Drop this #replay, give this a like so that I know you've seen it. It really helps me know if you guys are watching these trainings, if you find them valuable, if I should keep doing them. If you're not an issue, but if you are here and you've taken the time out of your day to watch it, honestly, it really helps me know if you're watching it, because otherwise I won't. And it's no problem. Saves me an hour every Friday. So I'll happily take the time back. Thank you very much. So, but if you are finding this valuable, let me know so I can continue doing so. Okay. Let's dive in. There's two reasons why you can't invest. Number one is circumstantial. Number two is going to be the way that you're thinking about it. What I find fascinating when I look at my decision to invest is the actual circumstances that I'm navigating, because sometimes what I want to invest in and what I think I can afford are two very different things. And what I think or perceive as being something that's expensive or too expensive, and I therefore tell myself the story that I can't afford it right now, and it's not necessarily something that I'm capable of doing, is sometimes actually a very fear-based decision. So you want to get really clear about, am I just telling myself a story that I don't want to invest, or that I can't invest because I'm scared to admit that I don't want to do the work, that I don't want to show up for this, that I don't want to have to learn this stuff in order to get the results that I know that I'm capable of creating, versus the actual circumstance of I do not have the money. And the most interesting part of that is how resourceful we are when we want something, how able we are to find the money when we want something, how we can, I'm not going to list a million different ways that we can source money if we really, really needed to. For example, let's just say you, like I had 2 weeks ago, end up with a freaking burst pipe and water all the way through the house. And you need money for an emergency plumber. You need to fix the flooring. Maybe something more damaging has come up and you need to have some significant expense in your house. You'll find the money. So what that tells you is that it isn't necessarily that you can't afford it. It's that you're choosing not to put the money there. And I think that's just important. Why is that important? Because as I've said, your clients will be giving you these reasons as well. And you want to know what that is. You want to be able to recognize it, not necessarily with any intention to do anything with it, because if that's how they feel, that's how they feel. But it's interesting feedback for you. It's very interesting feedback for you. And one of the things that I made an intention to shift about 18 months, about 2 years ago in my business, when I thought that I couldn't necessarily afford to spend it or couldn't justify the expense, was really keeping my personal power. So this isn't about me convincing you to go ahead and start investing outside of your means. Definitely not. Never do that. But I am saying you're more resourceful than you think you are. And I am saying that anytime that you're telling yourself you can't or you shouldn't invest, when you actually do have either the money or the access to the money, I invite you to step into your personal power and recognize that you're choosing not to invest. And I think this is really empowering, because when we start to do that in our own lives, in our own business, and not even with business, like anything, if you, I don't know, investing in a PT, investing in healthy food instead of cheap food, which tends to be faster food and more convenient food. You can put this into many areas of your life. Maybe investing in a car that might not break down every 5 minutes and save you money in the long run, but because of the immediate need, you feel like it's safer and cheaper to spend less money now, when in the long run, you probably end up spending more. You see what I mean? So this isn't even about business. This is just about the investor mindset. And so when you decide to shift into that element of, I'm going to take back my personal power, and I'm going to recognize that this is a choice, that I'm choosing to step away from this opportunity. I'm choosing to step away from that opportunity to learn or have that coaching or receive those insights or receive that training, even when I know that it will benefit my business, or even when I know I secretly desire these things. It's just a very, very quick way to retain your personal power. And when we realize that it's choice, that we're choosing this, it gives us that opportunity to look at our choices more differently and decide who we want to be. And that is so powerful, because when you're sat in front of your clients, being able to show them that that's what's happening, not with any intention to make a decision, their decision is totally their decision. But when you can show them that they are choosing not to prioritize themselves, choosing not to prioritize their marriage, or not to prioritize their health, or not to prioritize their, I don't know, whatever you coach them with, then you're giving them back their personal power, and you're asking them to take responsibility for their own results. Because what happens is, if we stay in that fear-based decision-making of, oh, I shouldn't invest this, so therefore I'm going to say I can't afford this, what happens is that we're staying in that fear-based energy. And when we're making decisions from a fear-based place, we're not creating the results that we want. We're creating fear-based results. And those fear-based results look like being a victim, feeling hard done by, feeling like you're entitled, that you're owed to things that, like, nobody's owed to anything. So you know, we ain't going to get very far feeling that way. And look, I say this because I've been there. So that's like the first part of the training, and the way that you can discern, and even questions you could ask if you have been given permission to coach in the consult around, you know, is this really a case that you can't afford it, or is it that you're choosing to step away from this right now? Either way is fine, but do you acknowledge what it is that what you're choosing here? The brilliant questions to ask yourself is, do I want this? I did a podcast on this called The Art of Goal Setting. I think I talked about it in there. And one of the big, like the overriding, I guess, a shift philosophy that I invite you to take from that podcast, and that I'm going to remind you of again here, is you're allowed to want what you want. So that you don't have to justify your big goals to anybody. If you want $1 million revenue in your business, go fucking make $1 million revenue in your business. If you want to be 6 figures this year, be 6 figures this year. If you want to replace your corporate salary, fucking A, go for it. And you can just want it because you want it, because it feels exciting to you, because it feels sexy to you, because you want it. You can't explain it. You just want it. There's like something in you that knows that you're capable of it. So you're going to make that something that you work towards. And that is something that you don't ever want to deny yourself, because whenever you deny yourself, it just becomes another thing that you don't get to have. And you end up staying more in your victim, staying more as the identity of someone who doesn't get what they want. And beyond your mindset, beyond your behaviors, beyond your actions, no matter how much you do in your business, if your identity is of the person who doesn't get what she wants or what he wants, then you're always going to be fighting that identity, and you're always going to come up short, because your identity will always win out. So something to think about. No problem ever if you can't afford it, or if you're choosing not to spend your money on it, but know the difference. The other question is, so the first question is, do I want this? The second is, I've got it written down here in my trusty notebook. Who do I have to be willing to be the person who gets to have this? So this is something I walked through in one of my bigger investments, right? So like, back in, about, I feel it's a good, probably 13 months ago now, I invested close to 5 figures in a coaching program. And I'm not going to lie, I was shit scared. I was on that consult like, oh my God, am I really doing this? And I was even a business coach at the time, right? And I think I remember the irony of it, because I had been coaching a one-to-one client on managing a consult process, right? And supporting their client through this big decision making. And I'm like on this call and I'm freaking out. Like I'm all calm. I'm all like nice and like tell me all the things, and telling her all about my business. Inside my heart, it's fucking pounding. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to do this? And I seriously really had to like step into that identity. Is that identity question again, right? It's that identity question of, do I want this? Do I want this? Am I the person who gets to have what she wants? Because of course I don't have fucking near 10K lying around, but this is the thing. Circumstantially, I did. I have 10K in my savings account. I have 10K in a bank account. This is the thing. Nobody has spare cash lying around unless you are Griselda. If you've watched that show on Netflix, let me know in the comments. Right? Like we're well respectable. We're respectable citizens of society. We're probably not sitting on spare cash that hasn't been accounted for. Same with your clients. Your clients aren't sat on cash that isn't accounted for. Everybody accounts for their money. Even if it's, this goes towards my $300 hair appointment, it's been accounted for. If it's in their savings, it's been accounted to savings, not necessarily for their business investments. So, or their personal investments if you're a personal life coach. So do you see if you haven't accounted for it, of course, you're never going to be able to afford it, even if circumstantially you have the access to the funds. So remember this when your clients are in your DMs and your consults, saying to you, oh, I have to speak to my partner, or I need to have a think about this. Because yeah, it's a big decision. It's a big decision. Knowing how to navigate that is important. Knowing how to recognize it in yourself is important. And for me, it 100% came down to, am I the type? And look, this isn't a lesson in, for you to make money, you have to invest in coaching. No, I'm going to address that in a second. But if you want it, and the honest answer is yes, I do. And maybe that's driven by a need. Maybe that's driven by a skill gap. Maybe that's driven by just a desire. Then you have to decide to be the person who gets the habit. And if you decide not to, no problem. You get to decide to be the person that chooses your savings over the things that you want. No judgment at all, like genuinely. Savings are a really fucking clever thing to have, and they're a very wise investment decision. So there truly is no judgment when I say that. It is about you loving your reasons and seeing your reasons fully. So those are the questions. Those are the two questions. So now we've spoke about that, which I think has given you lots of food for thought. This is what to do if you come to the conclusion, for whatever reason, whether it's circumstantially based or from an empowered place of choosing to step away from an investment, even if you could make it. How do you still get the support you need? How do you still stay in your empowerment, even if that means saying no to a course, a program, a coach, whatever it is? And this is some advice that I want to give you. And I'm going to share some of the circumstances in which I have decided to not invest from a place of empowerment. Because here's the thing, I've always got a coach, right? I'm like, oh, I love coaching. I am a coach. I coach coaches. I love having a coach. I'd be crazy not to. And sometimes that means I'm in a container and then another container presents itself and I don't have capacity. And I'm just like, no, I need to just stop spending my money on all the coaching, and I need to focus on what is actually going to help. So this is one thing I want to invite you to do. Be very smart with your investments. Sometimes it's just a timing thing. Sometimes things come up and it just isn't the right time. And that's absolutely fine. You can trust the timing of your life. Just because somebody presents an opportunity, if it isn't right for you, you don't have to invest. That's another very empowered reason just to step away. Sometimes we get trapped into the energy vortex of somebody's marketing, which, credit to their marketing, that's the intention for them, but you need to trust yourself. And one of the things that have allowed me to have a business for the last 18 months now, where I only attract clients who just feel so nourishing to my soul, who I love to work with, who show up for their containers, who get what they came for, is that I trust my clients to know to make the right decision for them. And part of knowing how to do that is adopting some of the ideas I've shared in this training, which is why I wanted to share it with you, because I think it's important that as a business owner, you become a very wise investor, not just in terms of your personal finances, but in terms of your business choices. It's a benefit to me to have good investors in my audience, because that means you're going to be a wise investor as a client. And that is something that I want from my clients. I want my clients to be wise investors. So this is why I'm giving you the training. So that's one thing to think about. The other is like the intention. Like sometimes, is it FOMO? Nothing wrong with signing up to shit for FOMO. You know, it's fine. But also that's how clutter is created. And you don't want to create energetic clutter in your mind of the courses that you haven't finished yet, of the courses that you started but didn't complete. Can you have a clean slate with your investments? Can you go in, get what you came for, even if it means that you didn't show up for the whole thing? And can you be energetically complete with what you did get from those containers and move on with confidence? That is the trait of a wise investor. Can you show constraint as well? So one thing that I don't advocate for, and I think this kind of shows in my business structure as well, I like to keep a simple business because you know what, like life is hard enough, guys. We don't need more shit for the sake of it. I love having my one-to-one signature offer. And on occasion, when the spark flies, I'll do a group. And they accumulate. I have a one-to-one, I have a mastermind that's just about to finish up. I've got your next paid client group, and I've got messaging mastery group that's going to start as your next paid client finishes. And that is more than busy enough for me, you know, because I like to have the spaciousness. I like the time freedom. I think that's the reason that you're building this business too. So just as with your product suite, you want to keep it simple and clean. And I always advocate for doing so and keeping it as clean and simple for you. The other side of that coin is you want to have energetically clean investments that you're plugged into. So the way that I do this, because this is something that I shared with one of my one-to-one clients before, and it really, really supported her, and I hope this will support you too, is the truth is, I think every business coach is epic. Truly. I think everybody has something to offer. I think you're going to find this as you get more clear about who you serve, as you get more confident about what you do, as you start putting out offers out there, or you're already experiencing this because you're already selling life coaching, you're going to realize there are a million freaking life coaches out there, right? You're going to realize there's a million other weight loss coaches. There's a million other divorce coaches. There's like, they're everywhere. Like we don't realize they're everywhere until we become a coach. And then that's all we see. I truly believe every business coach is amazing. I think the people who I sit next to metaphorically as a business coach, oh my God, my colleagues are amazing. Like, what a dream. Imagine this was like the coaching company, and every business coach that exists were all my colleagues. Sure, not all business coaches are equal, only in the sense of some talk about certain things, others talk about other things. Everybody has a different flavor, right? So if that was true, if you truly came at this with a truly abundant mindset that everybody can offer you something very special, but the coach for you is the one that you connect with, is the one that you can't seem to stop watching, is the one that you like to engage with, that you feel that connection with, that you feel that safety with, then honestly, latch onto them. I have like a small handful. I'm very particular about who I give my energy to as a client. I'm very particular about the rooms that I sit in. I practice constraint, not just in my product suite, not just in my marketing efforts, but also in how I learn, how I upskill, who I align myself to. So I have like 3, maybe 4 max business coaches who I love to plug into for various reasons. And I consume everything. I'm not saying you have to consume everything, but those are the circles I stay in. And don't get me wrong, other coaches trickle in and they have amazing value. And maybe they'll do a workshop that I want to plug into, or maybe they'll do a mastermind I want to plug into, or maybe they'll do a micro offer I want to plug into, or maybe there's a podcast I particularly like that they do. But I practice constraint because when I do that, it means that I'm not filling my head with a million opposing ideas. Because here's the truth. Business practices are timeless. Marketing is marketing at the end of the day. Sales are sales. Like, yes, there's a million different varieties of how you can do that. But if you're constantly looking for a new coach, constantly looking for the next thing, you're always going to be looking. What if you just chose to believe that the people who I align with, as in for you, the people you align with, are your people? What if you trusted that? If you came at it with the energy of, I trust that these people have come to me for a reason, just like you're on this you're on this training right now. You trust that I've come into your life for a reason. Why don't you stick around? Practice constraints. Stop getting sidetracked with like shiny object syndrome to all the different courses and all the different freebies, because otherwise you just end up with like an inbox of free trainings that you'll never ever watch. And instead constrain to 3, 4, even 5 coaches who you are fully aligned with. And so here's the real hack. The truth with really powerful marketing is that we're actually telling you everything you need to know. Everything. Like, I am not even kidding. Like, I haven't quite, like, as an example, at the time of this recording, I'm promoting a course called Messaging Mastery. There's 10 modules. If I promote once, think about this seriously. If I promote once a day and I do no more than that, and if you see me in more than one place, it's simply because I've cross-purposed that one piece. If I decided to promote that course 30 days in advance, that's 30 pieces of content, one a day, right? So at best, I can offer you maybe 3 pieces of content that align to each of the 10 modules. It's not that I'm not telling you everything there is to know. It is that I cannot tell you everything there is to know. But in the same paradox, I'm not really hiding anything in my marketing ever. I mean, this is true for me. I can't speak for everyone else. But truly, the reason that my marketing is so prolific and so powerful and sets my clients up for success even before they join me is because when they start to seriously plug into my stuff, the free stuff I give away helps them as much as the paid stuff, because I'm not actually hiding anything. But as I just explained to you, there is a literal limit to how much I can give you in one piece of content per day that gets repurposed into different spaces. So it's never that I'm like playing a game with you in terms of the marketing. The marketing is the magic. Like, if you go back and really look at the messaging mastery marketing that I've put out there, honestly, there is stuff that you will hear again when you're inside the container. Yeah, it's going to land differently if you decide to come into the container because you're choosing to receive it as a client. So this is the hack that I want you to take away. If you truly cannot afford it and you're choosing not to prioritize that investment right now, remember, because we no longer do the fear-based, I'm not letting myself have what I secretly want, but instead you're making an empowered decision not to, then what I do when I'm in your position is I plug in to the marketing of that as if I am paying for it, as if I am already a client. And what tends to happen is that the marketing is enough to transform me. The marketing is enough to teach me something that I can go away and implement into my business. So not only are you now going from, I can't invest, into I'm choosing not to invest from an empowered place, you're also getting exactly the support you need because you decide that you already have access to them as your coach, because you do, because you're seeing them every day in your marketing, and because you're choosing to implement the things that you have been able to glean from the marketing. And if they happen to be anything like me and they take the abundance marketing method, then you know that you're going to be learning some shit hot stuff in the marketing alone. And if you're smart with it, you will consume it as if you were a client. How good is that? And look, and if you're finding that a person that you're aligning to, and this is obviously coaching specific now, but if you're finding that a person you're aligned to doesn't give anything away in their marketing, then I'd look at that, because I think the abundance marketing method has been the key to truly never feeling bad about charging high prices, because I know the value of the proximity you get, of having my eyes on your business, of having that one-to-one, not even one-to-one, but one-to-many support. But being inside the container is so powerful. But it's also the reason why I feel so confident about my marketing being of service, why it never feels hard to do, why it never feels sleazy. And the reason is because I literally do give so much away. And it gets to feel so good. It feels like a gift, just like this training, case in point, it's free. You haven't had to do anything for this. I want to give this to you because it sets you up for success. And I know you're going to step away from this with an awareness that will serve you forevermore. And if you decided to work with me, then amazing. And if you don't, I know that I've contributed and you're going to go away and use that for good no matter what. Like, it's a win-win no matter what, even if you never pay me. And paying me is the bonus. So that was the training. How good is that? How good is that? So never, ever, ever again stress about not being able to afford something. Remember to go back to your power and recognize if this is a choice that you are making. Make the choice from a place of empowerment. And if that choice means that you decide not to go ahead and invest, then make sure you get what you need anyway by using and leveraging the marketing as if it was the training in and of itself. Because a very good coach probably is giving you the answers in her marketing. And I know for a fact, if you're in my world, well, you are in my world, if you're plugged into this and you're in the position where you can't invest in my programs, you want to, and you're choosing not to, honestly, like you've seen the training now, okay? You're at the end of it. You know what's up for grabs. Next time you listen to my podcast, next time you listen to a free masterclass, next time you see a free training inside this group, don't just think, oh, it's free. Oh, she's probably just giving me like the top level. No, I've literally told, like, if this was something that was worth putting into my one-to-one container, this is the level of depth I would have gone into. So I'll give you one final piece to take away. One of the beliefs that I always have, and this came to me a couple of weeks ago when I was having a bit of a wobble, as you do, and I was like, oh God, like, what do I do? I didn't know where to turn. And then I was like, wait a minute. I am so supported in my business. I am so supported in every single way. And I remembered I have containers I can plug into. I have support available to me. I have coach besties if I really need to. My favorite coaches probably have a podcast episode on it. I can probably go to their blog and find an answer to my problem. I could probably spend a bit longer scrolling with intentionality and find the answer that I'm looking for. I'm so supported. You are so supported, whether you put money where your mouth is or whether you're very smart with it and you never spend a dime. So enjoy this, enjoy realizing how supported you are, how much is available to you, and approach it from that place of empowerment, because that's what a wise investor does as the CEO of their soul-led business. Let me know in the comments if that was valuable. I'll see you next time in the next training.